Good morning, friends. My name's Jill, and this is my channel, Jilly Bean's Creative Candy Jar, where we talk about all the creative things I can get up to in a month. Welcome. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by. If you like what you see, please hit the like, subscribe, do all the things. If you're returning, thank you so much. It's fun to catch up with you. I have so much enjoyed connecting with people through the comments, and I have some new followers on Instagram, and I've made some new friends, and this is great. If you sat through my first, I'm sorry, the angle of my camera today, I'm having a really hard time. Last time I filmed on my iPhone, and somebody said to me, "You were kind of skinny," which no one ever says to me. So thank you very much. But if you sat through my web parade, God love you. Hope you took lots of breaks. It was very long, and I very much appreciate that you stopped by to see what I've been doing the last few years. I am definitely of the mindset, if I own it, start it. Why not? I liked it to buy it, so might as well own it. So, what have I been up to? Well, I live in Massachusetts. So like most of the East Coast, I have a lot of snow. I don't like snow. I don't mind cold. I don't like snow. It gets dirty. I just don't like it. So, but I don't, thankfully, I have a wonderful husband and son, and I don't have to shovel. So that's the plus. But I've been up to a lot of things. So I think I mentioned in my whip parade that this year I have two journals. One is my actual daykeeper, and I keep a paper daykeeper for my regular life. And on the calendar section, I'm going to put like all my starts, finishes, any monumentous things. I also, I thought about doing Whipco and decided, I know myself too well. If the number gets pulled and it's something I don't want to do, I'm not going to do it. So I decided instead to come up with like 25 projects, and I wrote them. I got some cardstock that I had floating around and cut out some tags, and I wrote down some different projects. So for the month of January, excuse me, I pulled start a new cross stitch project and start the 21 hat for Sean. So I will log those at the bottom of what my starts are. And then each week I like to go in, because I do multiple crafts. I do cross stitch, knitting, sewing, and I will log the things that I do. On the weekends, I like to kind of fill out a lot more of what I want to do. It gives me a lot more space, what I want to focus on. So that's one thing I'm working on. And then the other journal I keep is just I love this fabric, is where I will keep my cards for my pulls when I pull them. And then this front pocket will have any finishes. Yay, I have a finish. And then I have a section for my knitting where I'll put my notes. Cross stitch, have a finish. We'll get to that more. But I also have a sprocket printer, so I print the little pictures out and I'll stick them in there. Nothing fancy, just either a little glue stick or I used to do scrapbooking when my son was young. Excuse me. So I have a little glue that I can use that's safe for pictures. Not that I'm concerned about pictures in that journal. So that's how I'm tracking what I'm doing this year. And I have to say, January was pretty successful. So let's see what I've been up to. As always, I start with my knitting. And today I am wearing one of my most proud knits. So I'm going to angle the camera down a little. Well, maybe I'll just stand on my tippy toes. I'll put a picture in. This sweater is the Silver Forest by Jen Steinbeck. No, Steinglass, excuse me. And it was absolutely a labor of love. This sweater took me almost 7 months to knit, which is a really long time to knit a sweater. I did my gauge swatch. I did all the things I was supposed to do, but the color work, when I finished the color work section, I could have fit 3 of me in it. It was so big. In fact, I'll put a picture in here. You'll see I have a bottle of wine on the table because I ripped it out. I ripped it out 3 times, but I finally got it right. And I adore this sweater. It's one of my most favorite things I ever knit. So it's toasty, it's warm, it's woolly, but it's not scratchy. And the cool thing with wool is it's like it's hair. So use conditioner on it. So before I block a wool sweater that's not a superwash sweater, I will put some conditioner on my hands and put my hands in the water so the conditioner gets in the water, and I can soak my sweater in some conditioner, and it really helps. So I'm also having a really hard time figuring out where to look. So I'm really not this cross-eyed. So this is what I'm wearing. What have I been working on this month? So as you saw, my pull was to knit, or to start, excuse me, this 21 hat from my son, which I have wanted to knit this hat for so long. And I've started it and I'm not loving it. And I'm not 100% sure why. I have a theory on it, and I'm keeping it in this really cool little travel bag. I got this on Amazon. Chris, the camping stitcher, had shown it one time, and I really wanted one, so I went over and picked one up. So literally all I have done is the ribbing and the first color. And I'm thinking what the problem is. So these are all the great colors. It's blues and greens. And it's a great color for my son. It's a worsted weight. And I tend to like to knit in a fingering or a DK weight yarn. So I just have to get over it and work on it. So we'll see. The other thing, I'm working on a baby sweater for a friend. So once it's done and it's gifted, I will show you that. It's coming along. And then I found out one of my colleagues, young man in the office who I really, really like, his wife is expecting. So I'm excited. I love knitting baby sweaters. And then I have a family sweater to knit. So baby sweater. So I have a few baby sweaters coming. The other thing on my needle, and a goal that I had in January. So not only do I pull things for my focus projects, if you may, I also will write down my January goals. So my January goals were to knit to the sleeves, split on the sweater I'm going to show you, work on the baby sweater that I'm gifting, and then my focus and patriotic project for cross stitch. And I have done all of those. And sewing was to work on my flag quilt, which I've done. I will not show you that because it's just a bunch of pieces right now. So I am working on, which I've shown you before, the petite knit Anker sweater. No, this one's not Anker's. Yeah, it is. Sorry. And I will put a picture in here of where I started this month. And I have worked to the split. So I've split for sleeves. Tried it on, it fits beautifully. I was a little concerned. You know, I was probably about here when I started in January. And you would think going maybe 2 inches is not really that far, but when you're knitting almost 400 stitches, it takes a long time. So I knit for the did the pattern work up here, and then this is like a modified, which I've talked to you guys before about how I really like a raglan sleeve, which is the angled here, and you can see just ever so slightly the raglan increases there. So I changed the pattern a little bit. The pattern has the raglan stitches right next to each other. I tend to like a stitch between them. It just, for me, it's my personal preference. I like the way it looks. So that's what just like anything, it's a recipe. You can tweak it to how you want it. I will probably knit another inch or so on this and try it on again and check to see if I want to do any short row shaping in the front. Told you before, I'm a little busty, so lots of times I will do short row shaping in the front so that I have that extra fabric to cover the ladies, and that way when it's done, the front and back hang at the same length. So I will continue to work on that. That's a project that I usually take to work. This year, I'm really trying hard to step away from my desk at lunchtime, even if it's only for 10 minutes, and eat my lunch and knit at least a row on my sweater. So I'm going to throw that over there because that's going with me to the office. I should have told you today is Thursday, January, I don't know, 29th. Just had to check my phone. And I will be heading into the office after I finish this. So that is what I've been up to knitting wise. Got some plans for February, but we'll talk about that later. Let's talk about some cross stitch. I'm so excited. So first, let me show you, I have a couple of previous finishes. I think I've showed you before that I will write down on index cards. These are regular 3x5 index cards. Instead of being horizontal, they're vertical. I really like them. And what I do is I slide them in a luggage tag protector, and then I put that with my project and I hang my floss off of it. So it's like I know what floss goes with which project and all my details are here. So first I finished this in 2023. I started it on January 16th. I finished it on January 29th, just in time for Valentine's Day. And this is Tweet Hearts by Heart and Hand. It's stitched on 20 count Aida mushroom with all of the called for flosses. And I passed along the pattern to a friend. And I just made a simple little pillow finish with a little pink fabric on the back, nothing fancy. And then the next one I have as a previous finish is this little Valentine small. And this is Love by Salt and Pepper Stitching. It's stitched on 14 count, picture this plus, it's a mystery fabric that I got in a bag with some DMC flosses. I started it on January 5th, 2023, and I finished it on January 12th, 2023. So that's that. And I just put a little piece of pink hand-dyed fabric on the back. So those sit at my front entryway door. But the one I'm so excited about, it was a start, a finish, and an FFO all in January of this year. So first thing I did was I actually, because I'm a little bit anal retentive, I like my project bags to match my project. So I made myself a project bag. So this was also a January finish. And I stitched, let me take it out of the plastic. I'm sorry, folks. This is, I picked this up and I'm pretty sure it was at Stitch New England this past October. And I think I got it, it was on the freebie table. I'm pretty confident because I don't remember purchasing it. So this is Love by Bent Creek. It was a full kit. It was 28 count lamb's wool. And it was stitched with all of the called for flosses. I made a few changes. So as you see, I don't know if you can see in the picture, but some of the hearts here are the brownish color. And all of these little red stitches here are French knots. I wasn't stitching. I can make a French knot, but I'm not doing that many. So I finished it like this. So I did change all the hearts that were brown to the darker red. And I used the Mill Hill beads for the French knots. And then the buttons were not in there. I ordered those from Just Another Button Company and they came lickety split. And then I ordered a very simple frame on Amazon and I finished it. I did a not so wonderful job of throwing it in the frame and I just used some score tape and stick some paper over it. I wanted to get it up on the wall. After the season, I will take it down and do a much better job of fully finishing that before I put it away for the year. So those were my previous finishes and my fully finished. I was so proud of myself. So it's the small things in life that make us happy. And I know a lot of people say how letters are, I don't want to say simple, but there's just something very relaxing about stitching a letter. I think it's, even though you have the pattern, I think you know where you're supposed to be going because you know what the letter is supposed to be. So I think it makes it a little bit easier, but I really, really enjoyed stitching the letters. So that was great. So what have I worked on? Sorry, excuse me. Cross stitch wise, I have a very tiny little space right here and a lot of stuff. So cross stitch wise, I worked on 4 projects this month. So as I think I mentioned, I want to stitch on one of my priority stitches for 5 days, a patriotic stitch for 5 days, and that 5 days could be one thread. It could be before I get up early and do something creative before I go to work. So it could be before work, it could be after work, it could be both before and after work. I do not take my stitching to work. I just don't get enough time to take it out. Where knitting, it's pretty easy, whip it out, stitch a few, and then put it back in my bag. So what did I work on? So I worked on Love by Ben Creek. That was just it was my January pull and a stitch whatever made you happy. The other stitch whatever made me happy is, it's all kept in this great project bag by Como Stitches. And it's the Teresa Kogut Land That I Love, and I'm sorry for the glare. And I will insert a picture here of where I started. And I do a light iron. So what's your opinion on ironing between projects? I know, or between stitching when you put it away. I know some people don't iron until they're all done. I'm not making museum quality projects. So, and I don't really like wrinkles. So sometimes I do a light iron. So this is where I've gotten. I really worked on this basket here, and I brought the border down a little bit, and I'm using all of the called for flosses, and I am stitching mine on 36 count dirt tracks by Fox and Rabbit. And I started this in September, but I am going to make one change. So you see on the pattern, the U, S, and the A in the alphabet are in blue, and that is called for dolphin. And on my fabric, it's really ghosty, and it's fine in the vines over here. I like that. But in the A, it's really hard to see. So I picked up this blue, and this is blue jeans. So it's not quite as dark as this blue. It's a little bit darker than this one. So I'm thinking this is going to be what I'm going to go for the U, S, and the A in that project. So I will work on that probably tonight and maybe tomorrow, and then I'll start with what I'm doing in February. The other project I worked on, which was from my priority bin, is, do I have a pattern in here? I do. It's being kept in this incredibly lovely Amazon bag. And that pattern is It's Snow Time. And that's by Cottage Garden Sampling. So sorry for the glare. That's a little bit better. So I kitted this up this summer when I was in Maine at the Crafty Grimalkin. I was checking out. It was right there next to her register. And I was like, oh, I want that. And I kitted the whole thing. It's amazing how the models make a difference. So I'll put a picture here of where I was. And this is where I am now. I was up here, so I kind of brought this all down. What I'm trying to do is stitch at least one row of, or stitch one strand of the white when I stitch something else. So I'm working my way down on that. This might come out again in February since we're in so much snow and we're supposed to get more. I don't like snow. And then the last project I worked on in January was my patriotic pull. And of course I do I have the pattern? Hold on a second, please. Yes, I do. And that was American Welcome by Plum Street. And I am stitching this on, see, this is what I was talking about, these luggage tags, and then my floss just hangs off it. I know everything is. This is on 36 count Old Amana by Farm Girl Dry Goods. And it was a kit. I'll put a picture in here where I started. And this is where I am now. So I started working on the blue house, did the grass, started on the water. I really, really enjoy this one. Hopefully I'll pull it out again soon. So that is what I have been working on cross-stitch wise. So what are my plans for February? We're almost there. I cannot believe, as much as January drags on, not draws on. I can't believe it's almost over. So this morning I pulled my 2 projects for February. The first 2 things I pulled, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to do those 2. So like one was, I think, to cut my fall quilt. I'm not feeling the need to cut a fall quilt. So the 2 things I picked were start the bankhead hat, and it's either for myself or my husband. And I will show you that one. Hold on. I just stacked everything up on top of it. This is this pattern. And I got this when I was in Maine. For somebody that doesn't like, well, it's not cold in the summer in Maine. It's lovely in the summer in Maine. I spend a lot of time in Maine. So I actually caked up all the yarn for this and everything. So my husband's will be in this steely gray blue color. And then mine will be in this pink with the mohair held together. Maybe this will be my February start since it's love and Valentine's Day and pink. So we'll see. Either my husband or I will get a new hat. So that's on my February pull. And the other February pull was make a project bag. Make a gift project bag. So I am working on some project bags. If you're sitting with me at the library stitchers, that's what I'm giving this year. I will not show it to you yet. By next time, they're all in. Behind me is Craft-a-Palooza happening, and there's stuff cut everywhere. So I'll work on that. And I have a couple other that I'll be making for some friends. So I figured that was perfect for this month's pull. And then the other things I'm going to be working on. So my friend group wants to start 2 things in February, 2 patriotic stitches. So on February 1st, and part of this is in my haul. So let's kind of blend plans and haul together a little bit here. Excuse me, as I'm reaching into my haul basket. So a bunch of friends, they want to start. So if you don't follow, excuse me, Denise, excuse me, from Because We Stitch, you should go watch her latest Flosstube. She finished Salute to Abigail. Sorry for the glare, ladies and gentlemen. And that came from this Blackbird design book. And she finished it and she had it framed. It's stunning. So we're starting that on February 1st. And I'm going to be doing mine on a piece of Picture This Plus Heroic. And I picked my own flosses. Let me show them to you. Excuse me. A red, white, and a blue, and a light blue. So I think they'll be really pretty. So that will be my February 1st start, which for me may end up being Saturday, January 29th start, because I tend to like to start new things on a weekend. I just have a bigger block of time. And then the other start we're going to do, I don't know what I got myself into with this one, is Stars and Stripes. So I downloaded the pattern. I might get the ampersand done, and that's about it. I will like to do it the whole thing. So I am in the Color and Cotton. Sorry, I'm going to open this so that you can see the color better. Sorry. I should have opened that before. Fabric of the Month Club, and this is 36 count Palomino, and I went down to see my friend Pam at Stitch New England and got all of the flosses. So I'm thinking of starting that on President's Day. And like I said, I will really focus on the ampersand and eventually get to the rest of them. Or if I decide that that is biting off way more than I can chew, I will do Liberty. And that one is by, is this La-Di-Da? Nope. I apologize. This is Land of Liberty by Brenda Gervais. And I'm thinking of, picked up all, again, Pam saw a lot of me lately. So I picked up all the flosses for that. And I picked up a piece of Fox and Rabbit Dust Bunny. And I think that all the flosses will really work really pretty on that. And that currently is being housed in another one of those incredible Amazon project bags. Once I decide to start it, I will move it into a pretty project bag. So I tend to keep my kits in these Amazon bags because it's easy to see what's in them. And then when I'm ready to start them, if I don't have a bag that matches them, I usually make one. Just a quickie bag. So we know what my pulls are. Make the gift bag, make a hat. I'm going to continue to work on a patriotic thing every month, something from my priority bin. I do think It's Snow Time will be my priority stitch right now for this month, but who knows? I have another piece of haul. So I did get Scarecrow Lane by Teresa Kogut, the full kit. And remember how I said I like my project bags to match my project? So I went over to Blackstone Quilting and picked up, I love this fabric. In fact, I bought a yard of each, but I have another yard of this floating around in my collection because I really, really like this fabric. So I'll make a project bag for that. Or maybe I'll commission my friend Stephanie, the New England Stitcher, to make me a keeper. She makes incredible bags and keepers. So that's kind of what I've been up to this month. I hope you all are well. Hope you have a good time crafting in February. I will meet you back here again at the end of the month of February, probably again about the 28th or 29th. I'm looking to do every month. This way I can get a good snapshot of what I actually accomplished. Please leave me a comment if you have liked anything you saw, if you have any questions. I really have enjoyed connecting with folks. Oh, I forgot. Are you guys excited about the Olympics? I am. So the Naptime Stitcher once again did the Stitch the Olympics, and I will link her below. You should go over there, get all of the materials that she's provided, the prompts for every day. I'm probably going to put my own spin on it. I'm going to do like Craft the Olympics, only because although I do have enough projects that I could probably stitch something every single day, I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Because sometimes I have a hard time with changing different things every single day. But we'll think about it. We'll figure that out. But definitely check her out. It's a great thing. I love the Olympics. It's so much fun to watch them. And I think I like as much as I don't like snow, I think I like the Winter Olympics more than the Summer Olympics. I really like watching the hockey. I love to watch the skiing. I don't ski, but I enjoy watching them ski. And speed skating. Don't ask me why I think it's just really cool. So, well, I hope everyone's well. Stay warm. If you're in the Northeast, buckle down for some more snow this weekend. If you're someplace warm, I'm really jealous. So be well all. Talk to you soon.